G'day, we're here today. I'm Angus Barrett and we're in my store in Summer Street, Orange, and we are talking Annabella handbags. This is our French leather handbag. It's the most important thing I can tell you about this handbag is the leather that it's made from. It's the leather that I get from a tannery in France. It's a leather that I first used when I was making saddles in France, and the leather from this tannery we used to put the seats in the show jumping saddles. It's incredibly strong. It's a chrome tan leather. It's incredibly strong, incredibly durable, and then even better than that, the tannery that tan it make a huge array of colours that are absolutely beautiful. This year's range of leather, well, it's actually last year's leather, has, I don't know what they call it, but it's like a dye, and when I was there in the tannery I saw them applying it, and they rub it on with there's these ladies there, they throw these big sides of leather out on the table, and then they rub the leather, they rub the dye into the leather. Now usually when you do that in the Western world or in our world, in the saddlery world, you rub the dye into the leather and then you rub the top off, and it leaves the dye in the grain of the leather. But this is really trippy and super cool, and what I love about it is this does the opposite. It sticks to the high spots of the leather, so it really highlights the grain of the leather. It's probably going to be nearly impossible for you to see through the camera, but there's these multiple highlighted particles of leather that enhance the grain and show its beauty. Now it's a full aniline leather, so it's untampered with. The leather that we use here are just made purely from the best hides, and so they're full hides, so the whole cow, it's all bovine, the whole cow, not a side. So to get a full hide with not a mark, not a blemish on it is very challenging, but we get them, and then they leave the grain. They don't. So a semi-aniline leather is a leather that they have put a finish over the top of to hide defects, but there's none of that. This is just the raw leather, and then they do rub, so the leather is drum dyed, and then they rub this finish on the top of it. I don't know what it is. They put the finish on the top of it, which highlights the grain anymore. So if there was an imperfection in the leather, it would highlight it, and that's the beauty of it. That's what makes the leather wonderful, and also so incredibly expensive. But you get what you pay for. But this leather is super strong, super durable. And now I'll tell you about the bag and how we make it. We have what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colours at the moment. We have. I'll take this. It's got the stuffing in. I'll take it out. So I get 4 bags out of one whole cow. It's as simple as that, because they're very big pieces of leather. So they're not. There's no seams in it. That's what makes it so beautiful, and I think makes it so beautiful and so clean. I don't know how I started making handbags. Well, I do actually. I fell in love with the leather first, and then the handbag came along. So I know why I'm making handbags. Anyway, the leather is one big piece. It's actually 2 pieces of leather sewn together. There's the seam down there, and then we put a tuck in the bottom, and then there's a seam across the bottom and the seam up the side. We sew the handles on, and underneath the handles, which is really, really cool, we put some felt in there, which raises underneath the stitch line, and then the stitch goes around and it imprints it. So in between the 2 stitches is like this puffy bit of leather that's enhanced. Again, it's pushing out. Now the handles are sewn onto the bag, and then we sew the perimeter of the handle, because the handle is a triple fold. No, it's a double folded piece of leather with a rolled edge on the inside. So in one area there's 4 layers of leather, which we've got to thin down, so we split them down, or we skive the edges of the leather down so that when we roll them over, they're the same thickness all the way around. It's maybe 3 mil, but it's 2 layers of leather, and so it's really, really strong. There's not felt under it, there's no backing under it, it's just skived leather, so that you can't feel the change of where it goes from 2 bits of leather to 4 bits of leather. But that's how we get the rolled edge on the inside, so you don't have an open seam. You have this just beautiful, typically French rolled edge of leather. You wouldn't have a raw edge of leather in the world of fashion in France. Now inside the bag we have two pockets. We have a large pocket on this side, and it's sort of designed for most women where they just want to chuck heaps of stuff in the one bag, like heaps. And then the other side is there for their phone, because once they've got heaps of stuff in their bag, you can, I don't know if you've ever seen them, you know, this looks more like a horse going for a feed in a nose bag. Sorry women, but anyway, they're rummaging around in here looking for the phone. Anyway, we've got a pocket on this side where the phone goes, or you can put whatever you want in it, and the other side's a little bit bigger so that you can put your keys or whatever it is that you need. We've lined the inside of the bag with it's a light material, it's a hemp. It's a pure natural hemp. It's a charcoaly colour in grey with a fleck in it, so it can sort of get a little bit dirty and you can't really notice it. But what we've done this year, which is a lady who worked with me, Janice, she came up with the idea of how we could make the top of the bag better. So I used to join the hemp and the leather at the top, but now what we do is we roll the leather over, and the hemp is joined maybe 30mm or 35mm down. And so that gives lots of wear and protection when you're going in and out of the bag. There is a magnet, which is secretly sewn. You can't see it from the outside. It's sewn on the inside when you open, so you can't see the magnet from the outside, but you can see it from the inside. I think that's about it that I can tell you about handbags. They're really lovely, they're lined, they're made of really good leather. The most important thing to take away from it is the quality of the leather. So if you want a bag that you can use and not be afraid of spilling a coffee down the side, not that I recommend spilling coffee down the side, but if you want to spill coffee down the side, or if you do, or when you do, or could be a whiskey, whatever, you can wipe it off. This is super durable leather. You're not going to damage it. You're not going to hurt it. You can use it everywhere, and that's about it. They're lovely bags. They're worth every penny. Enjoy it. Thank you.